throughout Australia. This is 3AW's live coverage of the 2017 AFL Premiership season.
And we appreciate your company on this Anzac Day 2017. As always, 3AW footy for KFC. KFC chicken marinated in Tabasco sauce. Two legends together, finger licking good. Both teams have just re-entered the arena here at the mighty MCG. The umpires are back out there in the second half, not too far away, with Essendon leading by just 3 points. They led by 20 points approaching time onto the second term, but Collingwood kicked 2-5 to nothing for the remainder of the quarter, and it's the Pies 5-9-39 trailing the Bombers 6-6-42. 2 goals to Orazio Fantasia, now has 12 for the season and is leading the Bombers goal kicking. Singles to Danaher, Francis, Heppel and Hooker. Well, for the Magpies, Jamie Elliott, who was goalless in his comeback game last week against the Saints, has 2 goals, one. That one missed being a poster. He's been lively up forward. Only multiple goal kicker for the Pies. For Solo, Treloar and Sidebottom, the other goal kicker. 6-6-42 the Bombers. 5-9-39 the Magpies. Don't forget, round 6 gets underway on Friday night with these extended rounds with the public holidays, and we'll be in Canberra for the match of the round, the preliminary final rematch, should I say. 2 4-1 teams. In fact, I don't think it's the match of the round because of Adelaide and Richmond Sunday night, but it's the Giants and the Bulldogs from the nation's capital Friday night on 3AW footy. Let's get down to the boundary line. Doc Larkins before more from Lloydie, Shorey and Half.
Yeah, well, fortunately, both sides have got 4 fit rotation players on the bench, so that's the good news. Hasn't been really much medical stuff to worry about. Joe Watson decided he wanted his photo in the paper tomorrow with the headband on. That happened early in the game when he got split open above the eye. So it's really a question now. The conditions have made it a little bit heavier across the ground. We've seen it slippery. The lights have been on since late in that first quarter, but it's completely blue sky to the right of screen. So we've had very little rain since that initial early on in the game when it made it very, very slippery, Beaver. So the crowd really enjoying this, and we've got a contest going here. So let's hope we have a really competitive second half.
What do you think about playing Two Tribes Go to War on Anzac Day over the loudspeaker with Frankie Goes to Hollywood?
Just thinking that, Dwayne, and doesn't sit that comfortably with me.
Yeah, look, this argument about the war analogies with footy, I noticed that those within the service actually said that they were okay last night, which was nice as part of the pre-game, but strange choice of song to go with Frankie Goes to Hollywood, Two Tribes, to me on Anzac Day. I think you probably could be a little bit more respectful than that.
Big second half, Shorey. Both these clubs, you think that, as you touched on before the game, Collingwood go 1-4. It's a long, long way back to try and play finals football, which Nathan Buckley said he needs to play if he's to keep his job at the end of this year. And for Essendon, they've lost their last 2. A horrible loss to Carlton in round 3 and was smashed by the Adelaide Crows in round 4. So both haven't been on the winners list for a while, and it's hard to know how this one's going to play out in this second half.
Particularly for the Pies, 2 of their next 3. They've got Geelong here at the MCG Sunday. Fortnight later, they play the Giants in Sydney.
Yeah. So it could be a long time between drinks if they don't win this one, Shorey.
Yeah, it is a massive half of football, and you just don't know. After seeing what happened that last 7 minutes of the second quarter, you cannot believe the mentality of the modern player and the modern teams and groups. Just say, how can you change a game around like that? Halves, as you said, statistically, it was incredible.
Magpies didn't really want to hear the halftime siren. They had all the momentum, as Shorey just told you, for the last 8 to 10 minutes of the second quarter. Can they continue it in the third? For Munns, the lawn fertiliser specialists, we're underway. Magpies go to the city end. Leuenberger and Grundy neutralise each other. Goddard picks it up, slams it towards centre half forward, and that's a great mark by Shade. Contested pack mark coming in from the side, saving the day for the Pies. He squares it up laterally to Sidebottom. Pops a little one over the top on the left foot, and Varco's got it at left half back, and he kicks down the line, and that's a nice mark taken by Greenwood. Still left half back as he centres it to Maynard.
Just watching to see whether Stanton's got the job on Sidebottom as a run-with role, because he hasn't got the ball and Sidebottom's been dominant.
The voice of Norm Smith medalist Tony Shaw, 3AW football. Ball still in the hands of Shade, back pocket for Collingwood. Heads wide, out of side. Darcy Moore edged out of it, and a good mark taken by Ambrose. He didn't just edge Moore out of the contest, he ripped it down one-handed himself. Short pass to Goddard. Too far out to score. He pokes it to Merritt. 40 directly out. The first score coming up here for the second half for the Bombers.
You're right, sure he is too easy, and we'll watch who he played off here. I think Adam Treloar is his matchup, who could defend better, but just on Ambrose, he's just a giant killer now. He doesn't win a lot of the footy, but he had to be moved to Tex Walker, did the job on him after half-time last week, and has kept more to forward disposals today.
Zach Merritt, 48 out and misses.
Tom Phillips it was who was playing on him then, Lordy. And I tell you what, Treloar gave him a nice old mouthful too. Get goal side when you're not in control of the ball.
Kick in from Jeremy Howe, straight down the centre corridor to Maynard. He's going to receive it back, Howe, by hand. Another long searching drop punt. Well done by Collier, just got the hand in to spoil the ball from side bottom. Falls to Pendlebury. He was tackled, a handball towards side bottom, his old mate, and they fumble around with it. Good pressure from the Bombers, and it's out of bounds. True centre wing position, southern stand side. 43 plays 39. The Bombers with the only score of the second half, a Zach Merritt point as the ball comes spinning back into play.
Yeah, on the wing. Almost Collier got a half handball and a half kick. He didn't really get either in the end, and that's why Collingwood fans are screaming ball. They come away with it in the end anyway. Fantasia drives it inside 50. Hooker gets his way to the front. Got hands on it. McDonald, Tippin Woody kept it in front, then missed it, then towed it. Danaher played for the high free kick, and Varco cleverly rushes it behind. Not falling for that high free kick, sure.
Oh, no doubt. Joe Danaher should have got a logie, I reckon.
Missed an opportunity there. Tip and Woody need to pick the ball up. Handball to Danaher. He tried to sock it off the ground and fresh aired it.
Can't get a logie until 8 people in the TV week vote for you, Shorey.
Got a whole year to wait now.
Did you watch it all? Did you see it Sunday night?
Yeah.
Maynard to Greenwood, little short one to Broomhead. I can proudly say I've never watched a second.
I had to clean my nasal hair.
Rearrange my sock drawer. Broomhead goes wide to Maynard.
You're all TV watchers, you hypocrites.
Maynard takes the mark but can't play on because Leuenberger closed quickly. He loads up a helicopter-like thing to left half forward, gets to the back of the contest. Essendon there in numbers. Bagley with a handball. Zach Merritt, prolific as always, dangerous kick but clever.
Beautiful.
Centres it up to Kelly. The same motion of marking. Handballed over the top to Parrish. He goes sideways. Stanton's got it. Brings it back inboard. 2-on-1 favour the Bombers. Little block from Hooker allowed. Got out at the uncontested mark. Handballs to Parrish. Inside forward 50. Danaher. Just too tall for shade. And he took the mark at the back of the contest, and he'll line it up from 35 out on a slight angle to the punt road end.
I tipped the Bombers based on them being too quick for Collingwood. So I reckon if Collingwood don't apply pressure, I think Essendon have more upside. They just opened the field there and went coast to coast. It starts with Zach Merritt again. He's up to 18 disposals. His ball use is first class. Parrish was involved. Stanton was involved. Now, can they finish off here?
Before the Danaher kick, 1 goal 3 and 1 complete miss. And he can make that 1 goal 4. He came into the game with 9-6 for the season, but it's been the old Joe today. 1-4, Essendon 6-9-45, Collingwood 5-9-39. Munn's scoreboard, and the Bombers have kicked 3 behinds in the opening 4.5 of the third.
And that 1-4 is kind. I think he had a complete miss as well. So it's really, as Hooker takes the mark from the kick in, looks up and sees Danaher in the pocket, ignores that option, reckons you're cactus for the day. I might have a crack myself from here. And he backtracks. He's almost within range. He's going to kick from 52. Gee, had a good crack at it. It's sailing. It's long, and it's a goal. He's got a couple, and Collingwood had no tall player on the goal line.
Good point.
5-9-39 plays 7-9-51. Bombers lead. 5 minutes gone third.
Good point, Dwayne. I don't know what happened defensively back there. Some good shepherding on the line by the Essendon team, but Collingwood players had to understand you get numbers on the line, and that should have been touched on the line. But yeah, look, that was a bad kick out there, and you've still got to keep control of the ball, either the short and then over the top, but just go out wide, keeping it inside the 50-metre arc. It's just not good enough.
Been very accurate this year, Cale Hooker. 2 straight today, 8-3 for the season. Back in the centre, Grundy wins the tap, and he'll follow up his own work. Kick was off the side of the boot, though. Mark shouldn't be paid. Stanton grabbed it, only went 6 metres. Looped a long handball back to Kelly. Handball to Leuenberger. Handball to Mitch Brown. Careful build up by the Bombers. Kick to right half forward. Maynard, too strong for young Parrish. And he takes the easy saving mark, and a neat pass down to centre wing to Taylor Adams.
Adams looks up. He's got Pendlebury, but Goddard's right with him, and Goddard beats him.
He's had a quiet day, Pendlebury, today.
What's he had? Half? And what's Goddard had? Because they have been side by side for much of the afternoon.
Goddard's had 12 for the Bombers.
Pendlebury 11.
Okay, you're counting that one for Goddard that was smothered out of play?
Yes.
Okay.
Clanger.
Goddard's blaming everybody else, of course.
Never.
Round on the mark, or teammate didn't call for it, or 7-9-51 plays 5-9-39, 6.5 gone third term. Brought to you by Munns, the lawn specialists.
Wayne Russell, who said, of course. Wells has got it at the front of the contest. Nice pass to Fasolo. Sliding mark right on the boundary line.
He kicks this, doesn't he?
Yeah, he plays it immediately. Snap over the left shoulder. Curling. Too narrow. 1 goal, 3 now for the Faz. And what's that? 9-13 for the season. 7-10-52 Essendon. 5-10-40 Collingwood. I haven't put the point up yet.
From the kick. Still no point put up. Ramsey tries to ram the point home. Goes back inside 50. Brown's got it. Gave it to Heppel. Bombers will come away. Although Leuenberger drops the mark. Goes back to Heppel. He goes to Parrish. That opens up for Watson. He goes wide. Here's the run that Churi and Lloydie have been talking about. Collier dances inside one way then the other and puts a chaos scrubber inside 50. The chaos ball. Green picks it up. First Anzac Day for him. First Anzac Day goal for him. Love that chaos ball. I'd kick it inside 50 along the ground more often. The small guys, Eddie Betts included. Essendon 8-10-58. Collingwood 5-9-39. 8 minutes gone third term.
Yeah, very
In fact, the scoreboard's wrong.
Yeah, it should be
Yeah,
8-9 to 5-10.
They gave the point to Fasolo from Fasolo to the Bombers instead of the Knights.
Yeah, poor by Ben Reid. The chaos ball did come in, but Ben Reid's got to be better than that. Keep it in front. You've got to keep the ball in front, which he didn't. Josh Green made him pay. Can you give us a third quarter stat half which shows the Bombers' dominance? They seem to be controlling the play and opening Collingwood up.
I'll get that for you as soon as they get play underway, Lloydie.
So the scoreboard says 8-10 to 5-9. It's actually 8-9 to 5-10.
Yeah, 2-3 to a behind in this term. Pendlebury with the clearance for the Pies. Kicks it almost to full forward. At the back, Greenwood run down as soon as he gathered possession. Elliott fights on for it. And a little kick out of midair is a magical goal. Jamie Elliott with his third. And the Pies get a badly needed one. 6-10-46 Collingwood to 8-9-57 Essendon. Margin back to 11 points. Elliott with 3-1 for the afternoon. And all of that is on the Munns scoreboard.
I think the stat that stands out, Lloydie, is the handballs and handballs received from Essendon. It's 12-3, and it's in the first half we saw a lot of the teams, or both teams, handball under pressure, but the Bombers have been able to use it creatively to get some flow and real momentum and speed, which you talked about before in the game, and that's what's causing some havoc for the Pies.
What a big difference, Shorey, Jamie Elliott makes. He's their best forward, you'd have to say.
No doubt, he's the smartest. Last year, or when he did play, nearly 2 years ago, they were trying to make him into a crummer. I think you've still got to let him go for his marks and up when he goes, because he's so good overhead. He's hard match-up, but he's also good at ground level, as he showed on that occasion.
No takeaway from the ball up in the middle, so a secondary toss in the air. Grundy and Leuenberger. Goddard gets the clearance and he barrels one inside 50. It'll bounce. Another chaos ball. Reid can't rush it from there. No one's with him. He picks it up. He keeps it alive. Just in time to Goldsack. He keeps it alive just in time to Maynard. He heads in the Elliott direction. Bagley did well. Big fist knocked it down. Side bottom beelined it. Stanton's just about cooked. He wraps him up here. Almost proves me a liar. Picking up McNeese. McNeese goes to Heppel. He goes inside nicely. McGrath, McNeese. Where's McDonald, Tip and Woody? All the Big Macs might get a chance, even though KFC bring your footy on 3RW. Hurley goes wide. And we'll get a ball transition from the wing with Stanton getting it. McNeese giving it to him. He turns it over to Treloar. He hands it up. Crisp to Wells to Fasolo, and he takes the mark 55 out.
Nice save, Dwayne. Fasolo centres it to Treloar. There's plenty of players back inside 50, so they chip it around. Wells has got it. Parrish stands the mark at 52. Scoreboard's still not right. It's 11 points the margin. Wells turns it over. Kicks it straight to Leuenberger, who was looking about 8'10" as he tried to thread the needle to Fasolo. Leuenberger handballs to Hurley. Long kick down the line. Merritt's got it again. What's he up to? Half for the Southern Star Group.
Merritt's on fire. He's had 23.
Zach Merritt. Left foot drop punt down the line to a one-on-one. Varco
Well done.
punches it away from Hooker, and that was well done, conceding height and weight. Boundary throw in. Members stand centre wing right in front of Doc Larkins. Anything to report down there, Doc?
Yeah, the scoreboard obviously not listening to you, Beaver, or Dwayne on 3AW, because normally they would. They still haven't corrected the scoring up there.
Yes, we'll get on to Tony Shebeki shortly. Ramsey with the clearance, kicks it to centre half forward, and Elliott takes the chest mark in front of Bagley. Is he going to back himself here? No, he's going to handball to Daniel Wells. Closes to 40. Phil Manassa style. From that angle, 45 degrees. Daniel Wells kicks the goal, and the Pies are right back in it. 5 points the margin. 7-10-52 Collingwood. 8-9-57 Essendon on the Munn scoreboard.
Well, that's exactly what he has been drafted for, boys. No doubt about it. His kicking ability. He really put his body on the line in the second quarter, like an old warrior going out there trying to prove that I can still play. And just the one thing, Mark, I think Bagley might have to be changed off Elliott. He's just too good for him at the moment. Try and find. Tell you what, Hurley could nearly play on an Elliott because he does the same as what Fasolo does.
So the scoreboard says 7 points the margin. It's actually 5. So let's hope they correct that by the end of this game, because it looks like being close.
Still Hurley on Fasolo and still Bagley on Elliott at the restart.
So Phillips comes in off the square. It's going to stop Collingwood from having an almighty roar if they take the lead here with a goal, because the scoreboard says 7 points the difference, not 5. But Collingwood will go forward. Broomhead hands it up to Phillips. Run down by Kelly. Almost ball. Play on to the umpire. Broomhead picks it up. Almost ball, but he had no prior. Fasolo says play on. Umpire says play on. 30 from Collingwood's goal. They could take the lead. Treloar dumped. Ball up. And still the bloody scoreboard's not right.
Get onto it, Shebexter. It's 8-9 to 7-10.
Well, he's obviously listening to the wrong radio station.
Ball thrown in the air. Cox wins it down to Pendlebury. Immediately tackled by Watson. Ball scoots out to Mitch Brown, high up and under. Hoskin Elliott flew high, almost took a Robot Building Supplies mark of the day. Play on's the call. They scrapped for it at ground level. Heppel was very good. Handball to Parrish. Oh, he took a bounce. He's going to be run down by Maynard. Maynard with the bigger body worries him out of it. Handballs to Hoskin Elliott. Pies up and about. Quick handball to Crisp. Left forward pocket. Adams. He hit him on the chest. Wants to play on to give Collingwood the lead. He screws it round in the goal square. Darcy Moore bangs it through, and Collingwood are in front. If you're listening to us at the ground, don't look at the bloody scoreboard. The Pies are in front by a point. 8-10-50, and they've finally changed it to 8-9-57. The Woods have got their beaks in front.
And now all the Bomber fans will think they've been cheated on the scoreboard, Beaver, because somebody's saying they gave them 8 points for that.
That's an 8-point goal. It's a new rule. The AFL didn't let them do it.
They thought if Darcy Moore can kick one, we'll give you 8 points. It's been a while for him, but well done. Just a build-up again. Just a quick play from Taylor Adams into Darcy Moore. That was absolutely brilliant, and the Pie chance going up. I think last week Eddie Betts got hold of Mark Bagley and they had to put McGrath to him. So I just wonder whether that's the one that will happen. McGrath will have to go to Elliott if he kicks another one.
So Collingwood in front. Bombers with the takeaway. Heppel to Danaher in the middle. And he blasts one from 80. It might go all the way. Bombers back in front.
Gee whiz.
And that's a contender as well for the pancake parlour goal of the afternoon. I said that's a contender as well. Thank you very much. 8-10-58 to 9-9-63. Bombers in front, 15 gone third.
Gee, just clearance by clearance. Great hands. I think it was Watson, Heppel and Joe Danaher. Not a great kick from 30 out, but when you get him 80 out, no one deep in the forward line or in defence. Just a great finish.
But he was on Mason Cox there. So again, Mason Cox, he's just not picking up the game quickly enough, and Danaher made him pay there. So he's got a lift here, Cox.
Oh, this is a cracker now, and Cox does win the tap. Treloar got an unkind bounce here. A clash of legs there between Heppel and Treloar. Heppel actually got more toe on it, out towards McDonald, Tip and Woody. It's a left half forward for the Bombers, and the Pies through shade will see it over the boundary line. 60 metres around from the Essendon goal. 5 points is the Essendon lead. A cracking contest now as the conditions continue to dry out. Danaher reaches over the top of Cox, wins the tap. Collier grabs it, wobbles one towards full forward, and the saving mark from the veteran Goldsack. Plays on immediately with a handball to Varco.
Varco to Greenwood, good reach. Put the mark on the wing. They were in trouble if he didn't mark that. Here's to Fasolo. He leads Bagley in the race for it. Up against the boundary. He tried the little clever flick back, but Bagley read his mind. Bagley panicked, tried to go off the deck. In the end, Heppel mopped up his mess, but then he handballed it to two Collingwood players. One of them, Chris, gets out of trouble. Treloar to Greenwood. He goes back inside, looking for his left.
Umpire.
Umpire doesn't play ball. Picked up by McGrath for the Bombers, and he heads wide. And Hooker takes the mark on the wing. 58-63. Bombers lead. Turnover again. Howe, as Stanton couldn't mark it. He goes inside to Reid, and Collingwood have it at half back, even though they don't have the lead.
Reid chips a little one to the skipper. Pendlebury short to Treloar, and everyone momentarily takes a deep breath. Another little one to Chris, right on the Yarra Valley Toyota logo. Centre wing, and they are literally just taking a bit of steam out of this one at the moment. Players gasping for air on both sides as Chris goes sideways and short to Ben Reid. Nothing on short. So a long left foot drop, punt to left half forward. Grundy the target, got a piece of it. Hurley at the back, handballs to Bagley. Ball to boot quickly, it's an ugly wobbling thing. Hooker was the target. Reid got into his back, play on's the call. Crisp with a handball to Pendlebury. Handball to Howe, kicks on his non-preferred left to left half forward. Danaher flies well over the top of Jamie Elliott and thumps it out of bounds, and he was a good 20 metres inside the field of play. He killed that marking contest brilliantly. We'll have a throw in about 60 around from the Collingwood goal. City end of the stadium. It's the Bombers by 5 points.
So back into play. Merritt couldn't get the clearance. Shea gets there and he saw it out almost, but then he saved it last second. He got it to the side bottom, got it to Treloar, got it to Grundy, got it to Maynard, he dropped it. McDonald, Tip and Woody picked his pocket, kicks it towards half forward. Good race on. Here's Stanton's moment. He gets there. Kicks around the body, hoping for Fantasia. Varco, Fantasia, Fantasia, Varco, Fantasia. Brilliant goal. He's got 3. And he is one of the best small forwards in the caper.
No doubt.
10-9 to 8-10, Essendon lead, 20 gone, third.
I reckon Travis Varco did everything he could then. He held his body strength. And it's just a smart forward who can make something out of nearly nothing, really. And he didn't have the great position, but he just bided his time. If he pushed too hard in the back, he would have given a free kick. I'm with you, Dwayne. Probably other than Eddie Betts, this bloke's up there with one of the best small forwards going around.
I don't count Robbie Gray. It's probably too tall.
Nah, you can mark too, yeah.
13 goals, 5 now for the season for Fantasia, and he's still got a quarter and a bit. It's just the 5th game of the year to go. He has flown out of the blocks in 2017. From the restart, Pendlebury tries to soccer it forward. Treloar soccers it further forward. It skids inside forward 50. Mitch Brown overran it. Treloar tried to follow up his work, goes to ground. McGrath almost worried him out of it. And Zaharakis has got the footy, but he's gang tackled by the big American and also Treloar. And the umpire, he's a bit groggy getting up Zaharakis as well. We'll have a throw up at centre half forward for the Magpies.
Big pack around it. Merritt gets the clearance. He kicked it into space. He didn't know who was there. Race on. Good race as well. Fantasia's down there, and he does well again. Fantasia on the wing. Brilliant handball to McDonald, Tip and Woody. He gets the hooker. He's 50 out. Thinks about his options.
Isn't he in bad form?
He fluffed it. Knocked it to Green in the end. Got it to Heppel. No, he didn't. He got a little kick away just in time. I thought he got a kick away.
He did.
Umpire said it was a drop kick, and that doesn't count as a kick. Yep, good call by the umpire. That's the rule. Yeah. You're not allowed to get away with a holding the ball decision with a drop kick. Good point. Not counted as a disposal. It's Collingwood's ball at half back.
Well, Goldsack a low ball. He's kicked it straight to Collier. Who was the last person to do a drop kick in league footy?
Bruce Lynn, the goal, I think.
Oh, that's right. I was going to go further back to Russell Ebert, but
Billy Picken did one.
Collier.
Have you forgotten my back heel from the goal?
Come on, it's not about you today.
Outstanding.
Well, not a turnover. Essendon chipped it around. Half-back Collier to Kelly to Bagley to
Playing
Hurley.
Calder on the day.
I still can't believe that one goal he in.
That's one of the great commentary moments of all time. Have you forgotten my back heel goal of the year? Fantastic.
Hurley kick off the side of the boot and it's skidded out of bounds centre wing. Great Southern stand side. Ball spinning back into play. And it's all Collingwood at the back as well. Wells scoots away from the contest. It's a poor kick. Cox, he fumbles it below his knees, goes to ground. Watson in there. Plenty of red and black jumpers. Zaharakis, handball to Goddard. Handball to Heppel. The skipper's almost run down. Well, that was a toe poke, not a drop kick. He got away with it. It's right in the middle of the MCG. Josh Green's run down. Tackling pressure immense. Collingwood should get out of trouble. Howe dabs a little one and Phillips marks at the true centre half-back position.
He's got Grundy as the runner. Grundy could have kept going. He didn't really think running with McDonald, Tip and Woody on his tail was a good idea. He gave it to Howe by foot. He gives it to Broomhead by foot. They've got it to the wing. 58-69. Essendon lead. Short pass to Elliott. 5 minutes from three-quarter time. Third term brought to you by Munns, the lawn specialists.
Kelly's gone to Elliott too now, Lloydie.
Wells has got it. 70 from goal. Big Mason Cox. He won't get near it. Cut off by Hurley. And he takes the mark about 30 metres directly out from his defensive goal. So 8-10 to 10-9. Bombers lead. 23 gone. Ray White clock. They've got the know-how third quarter.
Not sure which side to go. Eventually he elects the member side and it works. Danaher takes a chest mark at the back of the contest. Hooker's down behind play. Was crunched in the marking contest. Danaher drives it inside. Josh Green just bodies Ramsey out. Takes a fine overhead mark. 42 metres from goal on slightly better than a 45-degree angle.
I think they've looked better with Danaher in the ruck or high up the ground. Get him up out of there, and guys like Fantasia, Green have really had a huge impact. Tip and Woody to a lesser extent in this third quarter, turning the Magpie defenders inside out.
Kicked a goal earlier in the term. The former Lion for his second and for a 17-point lead. Drop punt is good. Bombers 17 points to the good. 5 goals to 3 in this third term. 11-9-75 to 8-10-58 on the Munns scoreboard as the Ray White clock stops with 3:59 remaining until the final change.
Yeah, I think you're right, Lloydie. Every time Collingwood, when they kick their goals, it's really hard, labour intensive to get the goals. But a lot of times Essendon found space one-on-one. That was a great mark one-on-one, and he used his body brilliantly. But they've had space behind. And I think Collingwood have been pushing, like I said, in the second quarter, pushing their defence too far up. You can play off your man if you know he's not a dangerous player and try and help out on someone else.
Last 7 scoring shots have all been goals. Good game at the moment, but Collingwood back on the ropes again. Wells gets a clearance, thumps it long. Fasolo stays down, almost got the crumb. Broomhead did get it. They got him. McGrath with slick hands. Got it to Bagley. Nothing to go to by foot. Goes by hand to Parrish. He short passes to Big Louie, and Leuenberger goes down low. Took the mark, gave it to Watson. He's unsure where to go. He goes all the way backwards in the end to Zaharakis. 8-10-58 Collingwood. Essendon 11-9-75. 3.5 minutes left. Third term brought to you by Munns, the lawn fertiliser specialists.
60-metre drop punt from Zaharakis. Goldsack got a big piece of it, couldn't complete the mark. Handballs to a contest. Crisp fights on after it, gave it back to Goldsack. Handball to Greenwood. Essendon fans thought it was a throw. Kicks in the Moore direction. Strong hands takes the mark in front of Ambrose. He kicks quickly and he kicks high, and he doesn't give his forwards a real good chance of it. Although Fasolo flew high and created a contest. Elliott at ground level, trying to worry Zaharakis out of it. Knew he couldn't take it over the line. Handballed inboard, straight back to Broomhead. Quick handball to, was it Goldsack or Phillips it might have been. Flying shot at goal, it was all Essendon. And Mitch Brown takes the saving mark, passes to Hooker, handballs Kelly into trouble, run down by Phillips and penalised.
Hey, Beaver, can I just say, he's done it again, John Worsfold. He's thrown Hooker back far too early, and they go inside 50, they're one man short there, and he's not impacting the play. That's just a dumb handball by Hooker, So I reckon they've got to attack. They should have tried to score another goal, not tried to defend with so much time to go.
You might be trying to get him out of the way, Lloydie.
So Tom Phillips runs out, right foot snap is narrow, and a minor score. They've done it again.
He got away with that.
Well, the scoreboard did it again. 8-11-59, the correct score for the Woods. 11-9-75 for the Bombers.
Who did you say used to be the scoreboard attendant?
Oh, Craig Moore was telling us that it was Tony Shebeki.
He's going to lose his job.
Long kick in towards Danaher. He's edged out of it illegally. Umpire said it was okay. Maynard kicks it back inside 50 for Collingwood. High bomb, off hands. Snap around the body by Wells. Gee, not bad. Pretty good. Great. Outstanding. Although, did it scrape the post? Let's wait to hear what the umpire thinks it is. Umpire's call is a goal. If you didn't get that at home, they're just viewing to see if it scraped the post, but you cannot possibly get an angle that could overturn that. A tight little touch of the post. You need Snicko.
You reckon they're closer? You would have a closer picture, wouldn't you?
Oh, it doesn't matter how close your picture is.
No, yes, it does. We're about 500 metres away. It looks like that on the camera, Dwayne.
How are you going to tell? A faint touch on a post. It's not going to change the direction of the ball.
It'll be a goal, probably.
Yeah, well. Hot spot you want.
Well, that's the only way you can predict it.
Umpire's call.
Yeah, goal. Here we go. Wells has two, and all's well that ends. No, I won't do that. 9-11 Collingwood, Essendon 11-9 after that Wells goal. So they're back in a 10-point margin with 1:50 left in the third.
Slightly different impact, I reckon, from Wells from what we expected. He's had two opportunities to get the ball inside forward 50, kick the ball inside forward 50, and butchered both of those, but he's kicked two very important goals. One of those obviously out of congestion there.
You see here again, great goal from Wells, but Hooker had no impact. He was too far off that contest as the loose, so we see him back behind the ball now. So we'll see who it works for here, Collingwood or Essendon, both with loose men behind the footy.
5-3 to 4-2 in this third term in favour of the Bombers. Collingwood will go forward from the restart. Chris just hacks it towards right half forward. McNeese, the first gamer, needs to be composed. Pushed by Fasolo as he kicked it, but still got good purchase on it. Collier, the speedster, runs onto it. Handball to Watson. He got round the house. It did very well. I was going to say the Brownlow medalist. He still will be always thought of that, I suppose, but he kicked it straight to Grundy. And Collingwood can counter-attack again from right half back. 75 plays 65. Grundy not sure what to do. Eventually bangs it long down the line. Ben Reid ran himself under the footy. Broomhead at the back. He can't pick it. Cleverly flipped it back to Elliott. Handball to side bottom. He hugs the boundary line. Wells again. He's got the mark. Hemmed in on the boundary line. 25 to 30 from goal, right in front of the members.
And Hooker was out of position again, Lloydie.
And got up sore too, so he's not covering the ground well at the best of times.
He passes to Adams. Inboard on a much better angle. At a 60-degree angle, and the Adams kick will have to travel about 30 metres.
I think everybody was critical about the Pies going to Daniel Wells because he hadn't played a lot of football. He's 32, I think now, 31 or 32. But tell you what, if you can show this class every week, I think it's not a bad get.
I reckon that's the word. That's what they've lacked, the Pies. Class, finishing,
exactly.
Class and poise.
You would have thought about 25 might have been the time to get him.
The deficit for the Pies is 10 points before the vice-captain's kick. Taylor Adams to the city end. Drop punt starts right, and that's where it stays. 9-12-66 Collingwood. 11-9-75 Essendon on the Munn scoreboard. They're the lawn fertiliser specialists. And here's Dwayne Russell for the final 13 seconds of the third term.
So not time enough for an Essendon score here, but time enough for a crazy Essendon turnover for a Collingwood score. Grundy at half back, flies, can't mark it, just put it to ground, 55 from goal, through legs, some strange reason it went through Francis' legs. Reed's got it, gave it to Goldsack. He was bumped out on the siren just as he was about to get a kick away. Three-quarter time, MCG, still anyone's game. 11-9-75. The Bombers, who've led by as much as 20 points. Collingwood have also led in this game. They took the lead in the third term, but they trail now at the last change. 11-9-75 to 9-12-66. 3AW is football.